using your behind, you'll lose it and your mind. If you live your life using your behind, you'll lose it and your mind. If you live your life using your mind, you will keep it and your behind.
Okay.
All right.
Let me just do a little bit of
Quote of the day.
quote of the day.
day.
I'm about to put it in the chat.
Yes, if you live your life using your behind, you will lose it and your mind. If you live your life using your mind, you will keep it and your behind.
Oh, let me spotlight you. Sorry.
All right. So, starting off with that. Just hearing that, what does that make you think? I always say every week, it's not so much about what I say, it's about what I say. How does that make you think? What does that make you think of? What does that inspire in you as a thought or a thought? That quote that I just said. Anyone?
Coach, I had my blender on. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Sure. No, it's a quote, right? And so the question is, it's a question about the quote. So the quote is, if you live your life using your behind, you will lose it and your mind. If you live your life using your mind, you will keep it and your behind.
Well, I would say using your behind is doing things the hard way, right? Instead of using your mind to do things the proper way. So using your behind is like kind of using your body or forcing things versus using your intellect to figure out things. So if you're forcing your way through things, basically butting up against them, quote unquote, then you're going to have a hard time. And you're going to end up messing up your body and whatever initiative you have. But if you can do it with your intellect and your mind, then you possibly have a lot easier way to go, and you won't damage your body or your behind.
There you go. Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Coach Laura said, I need to make sure I'm practicing oftentimes to use my mind to move forward.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back to it, but I'm going to veer off the path with asking you another question, asking all of us another question. I have my own definition of it, but I want to hear what you guys' definition of this is. What is inspired action? What is that? What actually is that? What is, I don't want to say the definition because everybody may have their own thing, but what is inspired action? What is the definition of that?
Like when you're moved to take action from within.
Okay. Who else? What is inspired action?
I know this isn't the answer, but technically, all action is inspired action because all action stems from your thoughts.
Okay.
An action that inspires you.
Okay. So everybody's answer was pretty correct. Like I said, everybody has their own definition of it, but they may say it differently, but all of your answers were pretty correct. Kari's was pretty spot on. All action is inspired. All action is inspired. It's inspired by what?
Your thoughts.
Your thoughts. And your thoughts are inspired by what?
How you feel?
Your feelings are a result of your thoughts. You could have no feeling if you had no thought.
The mind.
What about it?
It's what inspires your thoughts.
Yes.
Or it's what inspires the actions.
Yes. But then why do people think differently?
Because of experiences,
And those
belief.
experience beliefs, what do those experience and beliefs, what do they do? What is the outcome of those? What is the outcome of those?
They
As relates,
motivate.
I'm
They
sorry.
motivate. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
I was just saying that they motivate you to make those decisions.
What's another word for, what's
They
another
influence you.
influence you? So then influence, motivation, what's another word that describes those? What are those influences and motivations doing? What are they doing to you?
Building your character.
They're building. What is another word for building? What's another action word?
Developing.
Developing. What's another one?
Creating.
What's another one?
Hmm.
This is good.
Realizing.
It's moving. It's moving you. Your inspired action is and are all the actions you take come from the state of mind that you're currently in.
Right.
All of them. So to Kari's point, every action you take is inspired action because every action is coming from the state of mind that you occupy. And the
Absolutely.
state of mind that you occupy dictates and determines which actions you will or will not take. Just like the state of mind, just like the states that you're all living in, determine what your options are today. If you don't live in Vegas, who is going to be at a Vegas casino today?
No.
Right? You cannot, your actions cannot reflect that state that you do not occupy. So every action that you're taking in your life right now is a reflection of the state of mind that you occupy. Just like every physical thing that you do, happy, sad, good, bad, mad, glad, is a reflection of the physical state that you're in. You cannot go to the beach if you're in certain places. You cannot go to this place if it's not where you are. You cannot have that action. That action has to be, you have to move to take that action. If you want to see New York and you don't live there, you have to go there so that you can take the action of seeing the Statue of Liberty or the action of riding on a New York subway, whatever else it is, right? Every action you take is inspired. That's not optional. Now, what is inspiring your action is dependent upon where you are. And when you talk about thoughts and feelings and beliefs, what those do is move you or keep you in the state you're in. They move you or keep you in the state you're in. So every action is inspired by the state that you occupy. That is not optional. What's optional is the state that you occupy. But most of us don't realize that. Most of us think that it is that our actions are involuntary or where we live in mind is involuntary, and it's not. We have just not, most of us, grown up and been conditioned to choose because our concept of free will is warped. We believe the concept of free will is physical. It is not. The concept of free will is mental. It means you have the ability to think whatever you want. People can try to influence you to think what you want, pressure you to think what you want. People can try to apply pressure to make you think something different. You know, like some of us, when we grew up, we got a spanking. It was to apply pressure to change your mind, right? Some of it, sometimes we got grounded. Sometimes we got yelled at. Sometimes, you know, you get pulled over by the police and you get a ticket. No one can make you change your mind. They can't. They can influence you. They can try to apply enough pressure, but no one can make you change your mind if you're unwilling to do that. Right? So the state of mind you're in is the only free will you truly have. What you think is behavioral free will is nothing but following the state of mind that you're in. It's nothing but that's all your options are. So like if we buy groceries in our house, and let's say we have young people that live with us and they go into the refrigerator and they pick something from there. They think they have free will, but they can only choose what's available. They can't choose something else. They only choose what's already available, right? And where you are living in a state, you can have a lot of desires, but you can only pick from the state that you're in. If you want to pick something else that's not in the state you're in, you have to move. You have to go there, right? In the state of mind, your physical life is only capable of being lived according to the state of mind that it's occupying at the moment. Your free will is the ability to choose a different state of mind that have a different set of thoughts, feelings, beliefs, outcomes, behaviors that are more aligned with what you want, called a desire. Right? So the key is to choose a state of mind that has everything in it that you want to express. Right? No one's going to Texas to see the Eiffel Tower. No one's going to California to see the Statue of Liberty. It's not if you're a good person or a bad person, a black person or a white person. Doesn't matter if you're male, female. Doesn't matter if you're whatever you are, right? These things are not personal. They're personally applied and personally experienced, but they're not personal. Nobody's in Texas like, I saw the Eiffel Tower yesterday. What was your problem? Like, man, it doesn't live there. That's not where that is. So your state of mind is where everything is happening. That's where all your choices are coming from. Just like where you live today. That's where all your choices, all your options are where you are and what you can get to from where you are. And as long as it takes for you to move, that's as long as it's going to take for you to experience that desire. Whether it's to go to the Eiffel Tower for however long, wherever you live, however long it takes for you to get to France, that's how long it's going to take. Wherever you are in state of mind, in location to your desire, in reference to your desire, however long it takes for you to move. Moving means to assume you have that thing, or you are that thing, or you're doing that thing. However long it takes for you to do that, based on your own current beliefs, thoughts, assumptions, what you want to call limiting beliefs, conditions, limitations, however long it takes for you to free yourself from that so that you can move to that state of mind of occupying that, that is how long it's going to take for you to see what you call manifestation. But manifestation is only the appearance of a selection. When you select something to say, I am this thing, right? When you continue to stay in that state of mind, that is when that thing will show up. But you have to keep coming to that state of mind. You have to keep returning to that state of mind. You have to stay there longer and longer and longer so that you go from a visitor to a resident. When you're a resident of something, you have different benefits than a visitor. Maybe you can vote. Maybe your driver's license is that way. Maybe you can get tax benefits that are different, whatever else it is. That's what makes citizenship or residency so important. That's what makes your identification so important, because you're identifying yourself where you live, in the state that you live in, or the country that you live in. And every state and every country has different rules. Every state and every country has different options, opportunities, things that are available, things that are not available. Neither one of those are right or wrong or good or bad. They just may be more aligned or less aligned with your desired outcome, which you would call good or bad. Does everybody understand that so far? Right? Everybody get that? Okay. All right. All right. So, okay. So the way we've all been conditioned to grow up is primarily physical, including our human mind. That's physical as well. So we've been taught that everything is physical, or most things are physical. So we've been taught to use our mind for everything, but only our human mind. We've been taught to use our body and our mind for everything. The problem with that is our body can only be in one place at one time. And the problem with that is our mind can only tell our body what to do based on the information that it has access to, that it's already aware of. So to a 2-year-old, they may not know 5 + 2 is 7. That doesn't mean it isn't. That doesn't mean it's not the truth. That just means you're unaware of it. You're unaware of a truth. And therefore, you can't necessarily get the benefit of that knowledge. And that knowledge is what allows you to be free. All knowledge allows you to be free, right? The truth of something allows you to be free. So there are a lot of things, there are a lot of opportunities for freedom that we are not experiencing because we're using the wrong apparatus or the wrong equipment, so to speak. There is your human mind and there is your higher mind. How can you tell the difference? Well, when you have an idea, right? That idea comes from your higher mind to your human mind. And that is why a lot of times your human mind says, hell no, how is that going to work out? You start arguing with yourself as soon as you get the idea, right? You're like, no, what? No one's ever going to buy that. I'm not even a painter. I don't even like painting, or I can't even run that fast. Or you get an idea that comes from a higher part. It came from you. No one told it to you. You heard it, or you can see it clear as day. But it came to your human mind, and your human mind says, since I have no experience with that, since I've never done that, since I can't look around and see that, since I've never been that before, then no way. But your human mind is like a scoreboard. It doesn't tell you what's going to happen. It only tells you what's happening or what has happened. It doesn't tell you who's going to score next. It doesn't tell you what's going to happen next. It uses all of its information to make decisions and to believe reality based on current conditions or past. It has no ability to predict the future. So your dream or your desire is a future thing, meaning it's something that you're not doing currently that you want to do moving forward. But your human mind doesn't have the ability to say yes or no, or it's using your present and your past to say, what is the likely probability, or what is the probability that this is going to work for me? Now, that's not the truth. That's just the belief. But beliefs feel like truth. Beliefs feel like law. It's why a lot of us have a hard time changing them, because we believe that they're fact. We believe that they're law. But they're not actually, because they are changeable. How many things in your life did you believe that, since you can remember believing anything, whether you're 3 years old, 5 years old, how many things did you believe at one point that you no longer believe? How many things did you believe that you look back on, you think, how did I ever think that was true? Or like, how many times have you changed your mind so completely that you can't ever believe you thought something different than that? Right? So the beliefs we hold are not truths necessarily. They're just things that we believe to the point that we believe they're true. But those are the things that we're operating on. And they could be just as wrong as 2 + 5 = 10. They could be just as wrong, but just because we believe it doesn't make it the truth, but it makes it true to us. So we act on that. So what we are here to do is to start learning how to use our higher mind, the mind that we have access to, should we so choose to use it, and to learn how to use that, to realize that our higher mind is not limited. It sees everything. That is what you would call the God mind or the universal mind, whatever way you want to say it. But that mind is like when we're in an airplane and we can look down and see the entire city. That's that part of mind. So when it says it's possible, it's like, yeah, because there's no traffic on that street. But when you're on the ground, you can't see 2 miles up the road. But when you're in the airplane, because I was in one last week, I can actually look down and say, oh yeah, that's this school. Oh yeah, that's that street. Oh, that's where that goes now. From a higher elevation, I can see everything. I have a different perspective. It's not that this perspective down here is wrong, so to speak. It's just the only one it can have from that level, from that location. When I use my higher mind, when I rose up in mind, when you rise up in elevation in a plane or in a building, you can see more of the city. That's why people like the penthouse. You can see more of everything. You can't see anything from the garden apartment looking at the wall. You can only see so far out, right? So how would you know who's coming down the street? How would you know where that street goes? You wouldn't. But we've been conditioned to use our mind and our human mind, our body for everything. But we don't understand that those are limited. They're not limiting, they're just limited. That's not the faculty or the apparatus you use to make grown folk decisions, to make adult decisions. That's not what you use, right? Those are what you use to live your dreams, what you use to live your life at the highest level is that higher mind. And you start to learn to develop a relationship with it, meaning becoming familiar with it. Just like everybody on here, all of us at one point were strangers. The only reason we're not now is because of repetition, consistent interaction. When you consistently learn to interact with your higher mind, right? You are going to start to believe like, okay, It says, my higher self says I can do this. I can be a millionaire, or I can create my own business. The desire came. It came from me. So why can't I do that? Right? But but it comes to our human mind, not for help, but for permission. It's knocking on the door for you to let it in. It already exists. That's why you can call it. That's why you can even deny it, but you can describe it. You can describe wanting to be a millionaire. You can describe wanting to have your own business. You can describe it. Let me give you an example. All right, so I need a volunteer. Who do I want to pick? I might even know I'm picking somebody, because I got to make sure everybody's awake on here. Because people sliding in the back, and yeah. Who here works in an office building?
I don't-
Anyone?
I do kind of, sort of.
Okay, kind of. That's good enough. What is your name? Who is this?
Laura.
Laura. All right, Laura. I want you to describe your office building. Like, just maybe like the floor you're on, or just like somewhere around your chair. Just somewhere. Just describe the office where you see it as you stand.
Okay. Cubicles, tall cubicles, L-shaped desks,
What color is the carpet?
tan.
Okay. What color are the walls?
The walls are white.
Okay. Are there any pictures on the walls?
Barely. If they're of Congress.
Okay. And are there any windows?
Yes.
Okay. So do you see how you describe that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's say you have a desire, but that you know of, but that you haven't accomplished yet. Do you have one of those?
Yes.
Do you have one of those that you're willing to share?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Describe it.
I want to be a full-time day trader, and
Okay.
I want to be an investor.
Okay. And you want to be a full-time, and what does that look like to you?
Oh, that looks like firing my 9 to 5.
Okay.
That looks like me leveling up my coaching business. That looks like me continuously learning every day and practicing in the stock market.
Okay.
Going to different programs, being a part of community that's doing like-minded things.
Okay.
That means me practicing in my simulation every morning.
Okay.
That means me studying at night. That means me saving money and investing it properly.
Okay.
That means me living a healthy life so that I can become wealthy. That means me budgeting and practicing saving. That means me having a coach and make sure that I'm in alliance with my coach. And again, with like-minded people who are doing the things that I want to accomplish, adopting a multi-millionaire mindset. I can go on.
Okay. So watch this. Okay. So now watch this. What is the difference between, you described two things. What is the difference between the office you described and your desire? You described them both and they sounded pretty clear. I think we would all agree. What is the difference between the two? There's one difference between the two.
I allow myself to make certain decisions from my higher elevated mindset to say that I have a growth mindset.
Okay. But but what is the difference between, you described two things clearly. What is the difference between, how did you describe your office and how did you describe your desire? What is the difference between your office and your desire? But you described them both. There's one difference.
A dream, a vision.
Okay.
The energy, that's what I was gonna
The
say.
energy, okay.
Put that in the chat.
Okay. All right. So here's the difference. Now, if the reason I couldn't describe your office is why?
Because you're not in it, you don't see it.
I don't see it. But you just described it. So me not seeing it means what?
That you don't know it.
It means what? You're complicating. It means what? What if I said you're lying?
You can't say that I'm lying because you're not in it. You don't see it.
So then my opinion means what?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing. Because it means nothing. So when you have a dream or a desire and your mind says you can't do that, do you know what that should mean to you?
Oh, it's a lie.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Nothing. Right? So what I'm saying is the one difference is the human mind describes things from its experience, not
Yes.
from reality. Because I don't have the experience, but it doesn't mean that what you described what isn't reality. It's just not reality to my human mind because I don't have the experience. So the human mind judges reality based on experience or lack thereof, not actually reality though.
Yes.
Right? So you were able to describe something from the present and past, from what you're doing now and past. Your higher mind is able to have a clear description of something from the present future. You can sit in one place and describe something as a human from the present, past, or as a living in your God mind, right? As a present future. That you could describe the present future just as clearly as you could describe the present past. They're both true, is my point. Your desire is just as true as your where you are now. They're just as true. That's why you could describe them. And the second one you describe probably even more clearly, right? So because God is always more clear than human.
Yes, yes.
Your super conscious mind, your higher mind is the 10,000 foot elevation. It can see the whole city when you're looking through the window of the plane. It can see everything. Our human mind can only see this thing. So since I'm in a place that I can't see your building where you are, I will say, no, that's not true. That's what our human mind does. It says, from the place I stand, no, that's not true. Your higher mind says, from the place I fly, yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we have to learn how to, just like you said, I have a mentor. Your higher mind is your mentor. Your higher mind is your hookup. Your higher mind is your inside trader. Your higher mind is the thing that knows everything that's going on. So when it comes to you, meaning all of us, when something comes to you, it's not coming from your human mind. It is coming to your human mind. Those are different.
Yes.
They're different. And so because we are not conditioned to use that part of our mind, that faculty, we then hear this thing, we get this idea that you can clearly describe. We get this idea or this thought or this feeling or this unction, we get something and we're like, and your higher mind's like, yeah, I understand that. But what am I going to do with that? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to, and it's your higher mind is not asking for your help. It's only asking for your permission.
Oh, you better say so.
Right? It's a different thing. I want all of us to understand that. Your dream or your desire is not asking for your help. It didn't even come from you. It came to you. It didn't come from you, meaning the name you call yourself. It came to the name you call yourself from yourself. You are not your mind. You are not your body. You are not your name. You are the thing that is operating your body, your mind with your name, with a name. Just like you're operating your car that has a name. You're not your car no matter how long you're in it, right? You're not asking for the car to show you how to get there. You're just saying, start up. Let me in. I'll do the rest. I already got the plan. You come to your car with a plan. Your higher mind comes to your human mind with a plan. It's not asking for your help. You didn't create the thing. How are you responsible for it all the time? You're not responsible for your dreams and desires the way you think you are. We're not. But because it comes to the faculty of our mind that is limited, we put the brakes on it. Remember the club back in the day? And everybody used to get out. But yeah, that's literally, that thing gets in, boy, and that idea gets in your mind, and it's sitting there looking at the steering wheel like it's a club. It's looking at your mind like it's the club, like, oh man, I can't do nothing with this. This thing locked up so tight. I might as well just sit here or just get out. This thing is not going to move. But it's because we're trying to use the faculty of our mind that does not operate that way. It just needs your permission. Once you say, yes, I accept that. I am willing to assume that I am that thing, or that I have that thing, or that I'm doing that thing. Then your higher mind will start actuating the plan. Because now, guess what? When you give your higher mind permission to step into the driver's seat, you are now in the state of that success. All of your actions inspired by your higher mind, not your human mind. They're different. It's not asking for your help. You don't have to figure it out. It'd be like me showing up to Kari's house and knocking on the door, be like, hey man, you ready to go to Hawaii? He'd be like, what are you talking about? You just knocking on my door, right? What? What are you talking about? Right? I'd be like, yeah, come on, let's go. You got the tickets? You got our hotel ready? He's like, dude, what are you talking about? You just showed up here out of the blue. Well, isn't that what an idea does?
Right.
Don't it just show up out of the blue and you look around like, where did this come from? And then and it's doing the same thing. It's not asking for your help. It's just asking for your permission to come in, right? Come on in. And if you let it come in, it will do all the rest because it's already coming fully assembled. It just needs your body. It doesn't need your thought. You didn't create the thought. There ain't nothing you can do for it. Just ride with it. Just roll with it. But the problem is, like we talked about the last couple of weeks, where the problem is where it's a stranger. We don't know it. We're not sure if we can trust it. We don't know where this was. We don't know if it's God, the devil. We don't know if it's we don't know what to call it or we don't know. And so we have a hard time trusting it. So then our mind says, well, stranger danger, right? And says, no, thank you. And then we sit there and we have this thing in the back of our mind we want, but we're sitting there trying to figure out what our human mind looking at at sea level, and our higher mind is looking at 10,000 foot altitude, and it's saying, just turn right. Just move out of the way. I'll do it. But we're like, no, you don't understand. I don't have a degree. You don't understand. Black lives don't really matter in America. You don't understand. Women can't get ahead like that. You don't understand. So now you're telling this part of yourself that sees all of the city from the plane, you're telling it where the traffic is 2 miles down the street. You're telling this how it's not going to work, why you can't go that way. There's always traffic that way. From there, you can't see that. All you're doing is assuming that. But your assumption is so strongly held, you believe it. And now you're talking like you can see the whole city and you can't even see 3 blocks down the street. If I ask everybody right now, what car is going by your house right now? Who can tell me? What's the license plate? Who can tell me? How many people in the car? Who can tell me? Because your higher mind can't see that, because it can't even see that where you're sitting. Car already went by, it's already gone, too late, right? But your higher mind knows all of that. So the idea is not coming from your human mind, it's coming to your human mind. And all you have to do is accept it. Be willing to assume, you know what? Okay, I'll roll with that. I don't got to do nothing to make it happen. This thing came to me. You knocked on my door. You better have the plan, the tickets. You better have talked to my wife or my husband. You better have smoothed all this stuff out. Don't come to me asking for no, man, it'll get me messed up. Don't come to me talking about quit my job or do this or slap somebody or don't. No, if you have the plan, you make it work. I'm willing to ride with you. And I'm riding shotgun. Shotgun, that term riding shotgun came from back in the day when banks were transporting money in carriages from one place to another. And they always used to have the stagecoach robberies. So essentially they put a person right next to the driver of the horse. They put them right next to him with a shotgun. That's where the term riding shotgun came from or comes from, right? So saying all that to say, you're riding shotgun with your higher mind. Your higher mind is the one that has the plan and will roll the plan out. All you have to do is be like, man, I trust you. I got you. You trust everybody else. You trust your boss to pay you, and you work for 2 weeks and they ain't got a check yet. And you go there every day smiling, good behavior, trying to stay a little later, and you trust that person every day. Companies go bankrupt all the time. What you gonna do? And by the time you sue, you ain't got enough money and enough time to wait it out. But so you show up every day, 2 weeks with your best outfit on, almost looking good as like when you go into church. You just one step below church, and you're there for 2 weeks straight. And you just assume and believing because you've been conditioned that if I show up here for 2 weeks. So my point is that that's not fact either. We're just believing things that we repeat. And what I'm saying to you is you will believe this if you start repeating it. You'll believe your higher mind just as much as you believe everything else in your lower mind. It's only a matter of conditioning and repetition. Like we talked about last week, conditioning and repetition. Now, we talked about it last week, right? And who won the marathon? Isn't it the same looking people like we talked about last week? Same ones. My mom sent me a screenshot. Same ones. You can call it. You can call it. Because now everybody has hands and feet. People have better technology. People have more money. People have everything. But so how come it's the same people winning? Because it's the same people making the same decision, the same people conditioning the same way. It's the same people with the same idea. They're always going to win until somebody adopts that same mentality. Essentially, you better learn how to be a training partner. You better start running with them so you can start running like them. It's the same thing, right? So I'm saying all that to say that we have not developed that relationship with our higher mind, with our God mind. We think we are human, and therefore we use our human mind, but our human mind is limited. It doesn't know what's coming around the block. It doesn't know where the economy is going to go bad, on what date exactly and at what time, and then what's going to happen. You don't know that, so then all you do is guess. Everything is a guess. Then all you do is assume. Then those thoughts create feelings, and those feelings create actions based on those because they're beliefs. They create a belief, then you act on your beliefs, and then you are wherever you are. But the problem with just acting solely on your feelings is feelings are not a plan. They're not a plan. Why'd you do that? Oh no, I just felt like it. Feelings don't lead you to an outcome. The thought does. So the feeling is a result of a thought. You think something long enough, you start feeling it. You think it and feel it long enough, you believe it. You believe it, you act on it. Everything you're doing is a belief. Everything you do is a belief. Everything you do, you believe it. So to enough of a degree to act. There's some beliefs you believe 100%. There's some you believe 5%. But if you acted on it, you believe. If you acted, you believed it. Enough for you to move it, for you to move with it. Right? So that means you have to determine and dictate and figure out then what are my beliefs? What am I actually believing here? And most of us believe that I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, that's like the person on the street saying, there's no traffic down there. I believe it when I see it. Man, look, Kari, I'm in the airplane. I shouldn't be on my phone, but I'm on here. There's traffic about 6 blocks up the street. Turn right. No, it ain't. You lying. You just a hater. That doesn't work. There's never traffic on this street. Don't we say all that to ourselves when the idea comes? How am I going to do that? Now you know you can't do it. How are you going to do that? And if you can, Lord, help you if you tell anyone else. Or you might as well just slap your own self, stab your own self. You might as well just throw your dream out the window, run it over and everything else. You might as well just kill it yourself. Right? Your higher mind does not need your help. It just needs your permission. It just needs permission to occupy. That's it. It will ride you, just like that's why you can describe it, because it's a real thing. That's my point. My point is that the way you described your office, you're describing it in your human mind because it's a real thing. But you can only use your human mind to describe something if it is already happening or happened. You use your higher mind to describe what can happen, because your higher mind, it's all happening right now too. It's not happening to your human mind, so you say it doesn't exist. I haven't seen that office, so I say it doesn't exist. But that doesn't mean it's not. That doesn't mean it's true. It just doesn't exist to me. Yes.
MB put in the chat that part, even when they don't have a verbal response, you can feel their energy blocking and rejecting the idea.
Yes, right? But shoot, people don't do us any worse than we do ourselves. The hardest thing to get over in our dream and our desire is ourselves. We convince ourselves nobody wants it, nobody's going to buy it, nobody's going to like it, it doesn't work like that. I don't have that degree, it's too hard, I have to know somebody, I got to get on 85 calls. We literally, the desire came to you already ready, and now you and your big old ideas and your big head think you're going to upgrade it. And all you do is mess it up. All you do is sabotage it. All you do is put a whole bunch of conditions in front of it. The idea didn't come with none of those conditions, and you added them.
Right.
You added them all. And you added them with a mind that you can't use to even accomplish the ones you added. You added all these barriers and obstacles to your desire and your dream with your brilliant mind. And now your brilliant mind can't even overcome the obstacles you put in. Your desire didn't come with all those obstacles. You brought those. You brought those. Nobody else did. You ever go to the store with somebody, maybe it's your kids or your friend, your brother, sister, somebody especially close to you, and they just said, oh, can I go with you? Like, yeah. So you go and you get what you want, and you get to the register, and they have some things in their hand too. And you're looking like, I know you got money for that, don't you? And it's your family. And so they're like, nah, I ain't got it. Can you get this for me? They didn't even ask you, could they pick it up off the shelf? They just came up there with it like, yeah, do. Or you walk in the store, go get some, and they go their own separate way. And you come back and they got a whole bunch of stuff. And you're like, what the hell is that? And they're like, oh yeah, man, I just needed a couple things. You don't even know I was going to the store. But they just getting something on you. Well, that's what you're doing with your human mind, right? To your higher mind. Your higher mind said, I'm going to the store. I got this taken care of. You like, can I go? Yeah. Then you come up with all your crap. You come up with all your limitations, all your conditions, all the reasons why it can't work, all the reasons. Hey, you saw what happened to me last time I tried it, didn't you? And they don't even like me. And you come up with you go shopping yourself. You don't have no money. You have no intention of paying, but you're going to put the burden on your higher mind to now work this stuff out too that you brought. You do it to yourself. We do it to ourselves. Our own lack of success or demise is self-induced, self-created, self-inflicted, because we don't believe it if we don't see it. We think it doesn't exist because we've never experienced it. But your idea or your desire exists. That's why, just like what was it, Laura?
Yes.
Laura, just like Laura described her desire as clearly as she described her office, how can one be true and one not? One is just true to one and one not yet. It is true to your higher mind, what you can describe. To your human mind, it's not true because it doesn't have that experience. But that doesn't mean it's actually not true. I could call her a liar, but what is that? What did she say? That meant absolutely nothing.
Right.
You have to be able to say that, look, I don't see this thing. I don't know how the hell this is going to work. I don't know. But I didn't come up with it, so thank God I ain't got to figure it out. All I got to do is ride with it. All I got to do is roll with it by the assumption I am that thing. So then how do you get to know anybody? Repetition. How do you get to know your desire? Repetition. I am this thing. I am this thing. That's what people call affirmations. That's what people call, when they call it journaling or scripting. It's just essentially repeatedly showing up as this thing. In my mind, I am this thing. I am this thing. I have no idea how, why, but I didn't come up with it. So only thing I'm doing is accepting it and riding with it. How it happens is not on me because it wasn't my idea. It wasn't my human mind idea, right? It was my higher mind's idea. This is what I wanted to be when I came here. Your idea is essentially like a thing on a grocery list. You now walk down that aisle and this thing on this list now applies. You've now got to a part of or point in your life where this idea now applies. But this idea was with you before you came with it. Now it's just turned on and said, it's time for that now. It's time for that now. And now you're like, oh, okay, cool. Let's get it done. I'm with you. All I'm going to do is accept it and assume it. I accept it because I like it and I assume it. That is free will. That's the only free will you have, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know. This is the only free will you have, is the acceptance or the denial of your desire. That's it. If you deny it, you will suffer because you're going to go without what you don't want. You're going to be estranged from your desire. You're going to suffer. If you accept it, you will be happily and blissfully married. The two will become one flesh. You and your desire will become one flesh. Your human mind, your higher mind are on the same page. There's nothing like a good marriage and there's nothing like a bad one. Jesus Christ. They're both terrible. And both one's terrible and one's good. There's nothing like a good union with anyone, whether it's on a team, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's in whatever it is. When you have to work with somebody, there's nothing like it when it's cracking. And it is the worst thing when it's not. You always got a selfish teammate. You always got some coworker who doing something they shouldn't be doing, right? You always have that faithful person, that best friend, that spouse, that boyfriend, that girlfriend, that brother, that sister that you can depend on. Well, your higher mind is infallible. It is indefatigable. It is unlimited. It can do anything. It is you. That is you really thinking. Your human mind is the apparatus that your body and the name you give it is working. Those two have to become one flesh in order to get something. They have to get on the same page, is what I'm trying to tell you. Right? This is just a faculty we have to start conditioning. Like our human mind, we've conditioned, so we believe everything is physical. But if you live your life trying to use your behind, you will lose it and your mind. Why do you think you have stress? Why do you think? Because now, and worry and fear and anxiety, because you have something you want to be and you're trying to use the wrong faculty to become it. You're trying to see who you can call next. You're trying to see how you're going to pay that bill. You're trying to see who else you know. You're trying to see who, and you're limited. You lack. You've run out. You've run out. You've run out. That's what the stress, just like the light comes on your car when you're almost out of gas. The light comes on. Yeah, well, anxiety and stress is what happens when you're starting to run out of your human brilliance. But if you're smart, you don't let the gas tank get that low. Because you don't realize if you run into traffic, if you run into a detour, if something happens, now you messed up, you're going to eventually run out of gas. Now you have no choice anywhere. Now you're just stranded. And so what's happening is we're using our mind, our body, our physical apparatus, we're winding it and burning it to the ground because we're not willing to use our higher level of thinking. What is it you want to be? What is it you want to do? What is it you want to have? That idea that's come to you is coming to you. It's not coming from your human mind. It's to it. So it is just as real as your office. That's why you can describe them the same way. And if you start learning that relationship and every day you talk to it, every day, right? You interact with it. That's how it goes from a stranger to your best friend. That's how it goes from, I don't know who the hell this is to, I know exactly who this is. Oh, it's cracking now. It's all good. It's all good. Right? But this is not spiritual. This is not deep. This is not weird. It's just unfamiliar. It's just a part of our ability that we have not trained. Almost like you see any superhero, they live kind of like a normal life for a while, and then they realize one day there's something else. They pick up a car, or they do a spider web, or they jump off the building and don't get hurt. There's something that clicks, that turns on. And that is what all of us on this call, that's happened to all of us. Something is turned on. We started to realize there's more than meets the eye, so to speak. And so now we're starting to realize there's a superpower that we have in us that is really us, that we have to start learning how to use. We have to start learning how to use this power that we have. It is the answer. It is the way. It is the truth. It is the life. It is not connotatively religious. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to beg it. You don't have to plead for it. You don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican. You don't have to do any of the human things. You don't have to do that. This is you. It is your faculty and your power. We're just unfamiliar with it. And we have to start like a person. That's okay to be unfamiliar. If you keep talking to them every day and interacting, they'll become your best friend or a good friend, or at least somebody you really know. And that's the relationship you have to start building with your higher self. It's already there. It's available. It's waiting for you. It is you. But this is your free will. It's not going to make you think what you don't want to think. It's not going to make you do what you're not willing to do. Because you won't think the thought that would cause that action. Every action is caused by a thought. There is nothing that's always the truth. There's never an exception. So that is the first thing I want to get across today, right? Is that your higher mind can see just as clearly what you call your future as your human mind can see just as clearly what you call your present. And if you start listening to your higher mind, if you start saying, you know what, I don't know how, I'm good with that. I don't know how, this wasn't my idea, so I'm not responsible for it. Cool. I'm rolling with it. And you say, every idea, hey, I'm rolling with you. Every day I'm rolling with you. Every day I assume I am. I don't know how, the bills don't look like it, my account don't look like it, but you said I am, so I'm gonna roll with you. Well, the guy or the woman at the company said they're gonna pay you in 2 weeks. You didn't ask them every day, where's your check? You didn't call them every hour asking where your check. You just believed it and showed up and did your best every day, assuming and believing that they're going to pay you. Well, then why don't you do the same thing with the thing that can do everything? This can make you everything. It is you. It is your true mind saying, hey, look, let's get this done. If you're willing to do that, you will see it. If you're willing to have that relationship every day, it's assume you are something without seeing it from your street view. That is your human mind from your street view. Learn to start to say, okay, I'm going to associate. Let me get on that plane with you. Let me see what it looked like up here. Oh, yeah, that's all right. I can see that now. The longer you stay in it, the more you'll see it. Your mind will rise. You'll rise out of your human mind into your higher mind. And then answers are up there. That's where the answers are. That's where you can see the city is up there, not on the ground. So this is just a part of us that we have to condition. All right. Anything anybody want to say about that before I move on to the next?
No.
No, okay, I'm moving on then. All right. What-
We all got punched in the face right now.
Hey, man,
I know.
just.
I
Yes.
was about to say, I think I said it all in the chat.
Okay,
Coach
I just
Leslie,
like to
you
make
on
sure,
fire.
I just like to make sure that we, that we are kind of on the same page. We're all still, nobody's left at the bus stop. We're all on the bus. Okay, wonderful. So I have a question now. Do the beliefs you have, the ones that you hold on to, act on, make excuses for, or try to act like it's real game that you give to everybody else, do the beliefs you have support and are they aligned with your desired experiences? Is what you're believing actually going to get you what you want, or is it making you what you want? Do the beliefs you have support the identity you desire and the goals you desire? Do you have the right ingredients for the desired meal? Is what you are thinking and believing and feeling to be true actually in line with your desired outcome? Is that how the person who has your desired outcome, is that your desire? Whatever it is you desire, is that how you would think if you had that? Is that how you would think if you were that? Is that how you think if that's what you were doing? Would you think the same way you're thinking now? Would you believe what you're believing now? Like, I want you to actually do some inventory on your thinking. If you had what you want, if you were what you want, if you were doing what you want, would you be thinking the way you're thinking now? Think of every area of your life. If you had the money you want, the health you wanted, the relationships you wanted, the business you wanted, the freedom you wanted, the hair you wanted, the children you wanted, whatever it is you wanted, would you be thinking then with that the way you're thinking right now?
I think that's the challenge, staying in alignment with that. Sometimes we're doing that, oftentimes we're not, which is why we need to get back in alignment.
Okay. And so we have to understand that if we were to take that and apply it to cooking, if sometimes we use the right ingredients and sometimes we don't, then what's going to happen?
Sometimes your meal gonna be nasty.
Isn't that how life feels sometimes? Right? Isn't that how that's the outcome, right? The outcome comes from something. The outcome comes from something. Right? And just like a meal that you serve to yourselves or your family comes from the ingredients and the cooking and the skill that you use, our life is the outcome of our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. We're using that to create the meal, the life, the outcome that we're seeing. And just like we know we can't be too tired, or we can't be too busy or too distracted, or we're not sitting here praying, we're not sitting here hoping and using affirmations. Dude, what do I want to cook? Where are the ingredients? If I don't have them, I got to go get them. Right? If I have them, I use them. We're not using all this craziness to cook the meal we want to eat. We understand it's very simple. Well, your life is just as simple. The outcome of your life is just as simple. But like I said in the last little part, we just haven't been conditioned to think the way we physically live. We physically understand I have to have the right ingredients to get this meal. We have to understand I have to have the right thoughts, feelings, and beliefs in order to get this outcome. Because my outcome is based, that's what's creating the outcome, so to speak. That's what's leading me to the outcome. It's not personal, it's not emotional, it's not something we can do or not do, or figure out when we want to do it and if we don't want to do it. If you want tacos or if you want Chinese food, you got to get whatever it takes to make that meal. That's not personal. That's not prayer. That's not anything deep and mystical. It's just we understand that physically. What I'm trying to get across here, my intention to get this across is the same thing. Your life is a meal. It's an outcome of something. And if you want to change the outcome, you have to change the ingredients, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And so I'm asking you, do you have the right ingredients to get your desired meal?
You said two words that
Yes.
resonated with me, and I think I get distracted by busyness. Like, I get distracted being busy
Mhm.
and find myself in these moments right now where I get to slow down and be in this class to realize that I'm not constantly saying the things, like the desired things to myself. I'm not talking to myself negatively, but then I'm also not doing that, if that makes sense. Like I stay distracted with the busyness, with all the work that I got to do, with, you know, all the websites, or, you know, all the trainings.
Mhm.
So I just had that realization.
Well, that's the point, and that's okay, because the point is that you are living life. So the point is you condition yourself to run on autopilot. For everybody in relationships, you're a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, or girlfriend, but not at work. They don't care nothing about that. They want that work done.
Right.
So you're still that. You're still what you know yourself to be, right? But over here, you are living a different part of yourself, a different aspect of life. Right? And so as a result, you, just because you're not acting that right now doesn't mean you forgot it.
Okay.
Right? So the whole point then is to condition yourself to run on autopilot while you're doing something else. Do you think those people running the marathon like they're running it are really sitting there going 1, 2, 1, 2, running with their feet? No, they've done it so many times, right, that they're just on autopilot. They have just conditioned their body to perform. They know when they strap them shoes up and they blow that whistle, and that's what it is. That's why the same people win every time, like we talk about, because they've conditioned themselves to perform unconsciously. What do we talk about? What did Bruce Lipton say? 95% of your life is run by your subconscious mind, your habit mind. 95%.
Yeah.
Only 5% is run by your conscious mind.
Yeah.
Only 5% is run by your conscious mind. Look at all the things you do without thinking. Everything you did without thinking required thought when you first learned it. You ever seen a young toddler, or a little baby, a young toddler trying to brush their teeth? Everybody seen that experiment?
Yeah.
You ever seen like a little baby learning how to walk? Everybody seen that experiment? You ever been in a teenager trying to learn how to drive? Everybody seen that experiment? Everything that you're taking for granted now is you only can do that because you've done it so many times. You can literally take it for granted. It means you literally have handed that ability to your subconscious mind, and it just operates it on autopilot. So that you can consciously put your mind on something. Right? That's all it is. So that is what affirmations do. That's what journaling or scripting does. That's what aspirations do. That's what imagining does, right? In the sense of you are just consistently acquainting yourself with being the person you want to be. You are establishing your awareness of being something. And you keep coming back to it and 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 back to it. And after a while, you're like, this is who I am. I'm now this person. The baby keeps walking until they walk. They keep brushing their teeth until they stop stabbing themselves, right? So they stop, right? Poking their eye out and going up in their nose, right? They keep learning how to eat so that they keep it in their mouth and close to the plate. It's a progression. Doesn't start overnight, but it starts through habitual repetition. Everybody wants to make that, I'm going to use the word again, connotatively, religious or spiritual. I'm doing affirmations. I'm doing aspirations. I'm doing journaling. I'm doing scripting. I'm manifesting. No. No. All you're doing is becoming acquainted with something through repeated interaction. That's all you're doing. Because God already knows the human mind learns. The human mind learns through repetition. God already knows. So all you're doing is becoming more familiar with this thing by repeating it, whether it's in thought or in action. Riding a bike, driving a car, brushing your teeth, eating, walking. You become familiar with it through repetition. Yes.
Monique?
I just wanted to say, to make a point to what you're teaching. I've noticed for myself in the past couple of weeks or months that instead of going down the rabbit hole of what terrible thing is going to happen, I snap myself out of it, like, what are we doing? And then I start thinking and imagining the outcome that I desire, and then I get that outcome. As opposed to going down the rabbit hole of, well, this is going to happen, and then she's going to say this, and I'm going to say that, and I'm going to be mad. It's just a soap opera. So I've learned to stop myself from going down that rabbit hole, and I immediately And I literally physically snap my fingers and say out loud, what are we doing? Think different thoughts.
Mhm.
So it took me a while to get there. I'm only 46 years young, but
Mhm.
I'm here now.
Mhm. That's wonderful. So perfect. The title of today's class is TV Guide. So you know, pretty much all of us have cable, and when you turn it on and you're trying to figure out what you want to watch, there's that guide, right? That big old guide. So this guide, and you see, right, a bunch of lines, pretty much, or like some way where they're showing you like all the different things. All right. So all those different channels, what do those represent?
States?
Options.
Okay, states, options. What's a better word? Not a better word. What's another word for options?
Choices?
Choices.
Oh,
That's the one I really want you to get. And because they are states and they are options. They are states. When you click on one channel, isn't it completely different than the other channel you didn't click on? Isn't what you're looking at, who's in it, what's going on in the background, isn't that completely different? Like California is different from Texas? Those channels are states. And so those channels are states, and because you have the option, you can make a
choice.
choice. So don't get this fooled. Don't let this get too high. You're always making choices. You're making choices every day, all the time, based on what you perceive to be your options, which are nothing but possibilities that lie within a state of mind, or a state of New Jersey, Pennsylvania, California, Texas. You have options in those states, and within those options, you can make choices. But when you're on that screen, you see all those different options. When are all of those happening?
Right now? Well, they have different times.
No, everything that's on the same line,
On the, okay, yeah.
It's happening at the same time.
they're all happening at the same time. So guess what? Your failure is happening right now. When can your success happen?
Right now?
Right
Right
now.
now.
They're all happening at the same time. But guess why you're seeing failure?
You're choosing it?
Because you're choosing it. That's the option based on the state of mind, based on the channel you picked. The channel called depression, the channel called poverty, the channel called, oh, hell, not again. The channel called, yeah, you're right, all the, them things we say to ourselves. Yeah. Do you know, watch this. Do you know the things that we say to ourselves? Right? Like, oh, hell no, or hell yeah, whatever, right? There's a word for that. We are doing what with our lives? When you say,
Sabotaging.
you're saying what? You're doing what?
Sabotaging.
Sabotaging. Okay, but yeah, but just think if this was a television show or a movie, what would that be called?
Repeat.
Producing and directing.
Watching it?
Nope.
Not producing and directing.
Nope. I mean, yeah, you're doing that too, but that's not what when you're saying something to yourself, if you're watching a show, narrating. You are narrating your life. When you say, oh, hell no, aren't you talking about what's happening? When you see it on TV and Morgan Freeman and Samuel L. Jackson, or, Maya Angelou back in the day, right? When they were talking about something over the screen, didn't it look like what you were seeing? So when you say, oh, hell, not again, isn't that because of what you're seeing? Aren't you? You are narrating your life. No, I'm telling you, you are so deep in your life. You are so completely in your life. You have no idea how you are holding it up instead of actually holding it up. You are sticking it up and holding it up instead of raising it up, instead of lifting it up. You are narrating your life. When you're talking to yourself, you're narrating your life. You are talking about how you perceive your life to be going. So listen to what you're saying. Think about what you've been saying the last 24 hours. Now just think of yourself as Samuel L. or Morgan Freeman narrating your disaster, how tired you are, how this is some BS, how he ain't gonna talk to me like that again, how I'm tired of this traffic, I can't wait to quit this. You're narrating your life. and you don't even realize it. You don't even recognize it. You are talking about how you see your life going, and I'm going to say it this way, but you think you're just being honest. You think you're just keeping it real. You think you're just saying what's happening, but you don't realize that the power that you are by saying what's happening, all you're doing is keeping it happening. Because there's no one else to change it but you. So if you don't change what you say, you can't change what you see. Right? All of these things on the TV guide are all happening at the same time. Your good is available. Your bad is available. Your demotion, your depression is available. Your success, your victory, your peace, your joy, they're all available. But you have to pick the state of that. You have to pick that channel where only these things are in it. You have to pick the right channel, just like you do on TV. You can't pick this and then say, why is this on? Because you picked it. Why is it on in your life? Because you picked it. There's a lot of things you don't realize that you picked because you don't always pick up everything consciously. There's a lot of things that you pick up on subconsciously. Just seeing somebody do something every day, or hearing something in the background every day, hearing what your parents say every day, hearing what your friends say every day. You start to pick up on things. And we don't guide and guard our mind as much as we do a physical home. You wouldn't let these people in your home, but you'd let this thought in your mind. Right? You'd be like, man, are you crazy? You look crazy. You look crazy. Why would I let you in my house? You have depression. Why would you let that in your mind? Do you think that's better than the crazy dude down the street? Did depression dress itself up in a 3-piece suit? Or in some kind of wedding gown and be like, let me in? What are you talking about? This is just as crazy as the crazy person you wouldn't let in your house. At least you can throw them out. Do you know how hard it is to get things out of your mind if you are unwilling to do that? Most people think it's hard to change, and it's really not. That's just a belief that is so universally held that we hold on to it. If you wouldn't say that of God, don't say it of you. How about that? When it was darkness in the beginning of the Bible, and it was dark, and God said, let there be light. What if light was like, man, it's hard to change. It's really kind of dark out here, man. Can we talk about it? Right? Can we? If you wouldn't say that of the connotative God in the sky, right? If you wouldn't say that of that God, don't say it about yourself. If God wouldn't say I'm broke, why would you? If God wouldn't say I'm sick, why would you? If God wouldn't say I why do you? If God wouldn't say I'll never make it, why do you? Can you imagine and why do we quit on so many things? Can you imagine what happened if God quit? If God was like, you're on your own.
He dropped the marker, y'all. For the new folks, that's his move. He drops the marker when he's done. He's like, I'm over it.
Can you imagine that? What if you were just sitting there now and you're praying and it was like this? Yeah, go ahead and pray to that. You know what? Bye.
All right, God, nah, for real, stop playing. Come back.
Right? Right. Can you imagine if God quit? It was like, I'm tired of this.
Natasha said, God said, I'm out. Save yourself. You got a little buddy.
Yeah, that's essentially that's what's happening.
George says, God said, good luck.
Good luck with that. It's hard out here. Good luck with that.
It's hard out here.
Money don't grow on trees. Good luck with that. Right? I got to know somebody to get out of the situation. Good luck with that. Right? Just imagine if God said to us what we say. Shoot, and not even to God, to ourselves. What we say to ourselves, we wouldn't dare say to God, God, you know what? This leg you gave me, this ain't no good. Or so what I'm saying is that when you talk to yourself, that's what you're talking to. You're talking to God. When you talk to yourself, you're talking to God. That's who you're talking to. You're talking to your true self, your higher self. You're having a physical experience. but you're not physical. You're talking to your true self. And God help you if you say the same things to God that you say to yourself. Why are you saying that? That is God. You're talking to yourself. You're talking to the only thing that can ever help you. That is you. Right? So these are all things you can pick right now. All of those things on the TV guide you can pick right now. You're going through the remote of your mind picking. But like I said, we're not as conditioned to understand that mentally and psychologically and consciously as we are physically. We understand that the remote, you can't just go on there pressing anything and then wonder why you don't see a particular thing. But we think we can just think anything and pick the wrong channel. But, oh God, but I was just keeping it real. I was just telling the truth. I was just telling it like it is. I was just, well, yeah, you can tell it like it is. You picked the wrong channel. We both telling it like it is. You broke. Now what? Perfect. It's good and very good to me. You picked it. You selected it. You manifested it. People come up with all these big words and half the time don't even know what they mean. Manifesting means only selecting. You're just selecting. You're selecting from the invisible to bring it to your physical world. That's all you're doing. Everything already exists. You're not making anything. You're not creating anything. You're not doing anything in your human mind, but getting ideas and downloads in the sense of saying, okay, this is what I want to be next. This is what I want to do next. Yes, I'll take it and you will. No, I won't and you won't. You'll go with it or go without it. It's up to you. That's the free will you have. The free will you have is to choose the life you want to live by this TV guide, just like you choose the channel you want to watch when you turn your TV on. Turning your TV on is like turning your life on. Everything exists right now. You can't watch a 6 o'clock show if it's 2 o'clock. So you're not looking at you're only looking at the 2 o'clock. You're always living in the present. So every one of these channels exists every minute you're alive. Your job is to pick, is to manifest. It means is to select what you want from that TV guide to now pop on your screen. What idea you want to take from your mind to pop up in your hand. Use the remote, meaning use your free will, your ability to choose. That's what you're doing. That's all you're doing. And everything you do is just like when you turn that channel, isn't that all you see? Well, when you pick that, when you select that state of mind, that's all you're going to see. All you're going to see is wealth because that's the channel. It doesn't matter what else is going on in the world. That's all you will see. All you will see is success. All you're seeing is the channel you're picking. So if you're picking stress and anxiety in HD 4K, well, guess what? Boy, you're going to see it so clear, there'll be no mistaking how stressed and worried you are. Oh, I mean, it'll be so crystal clear. It'll be 3D, 4K. It'll be everything. It'll be like you got the goggles on in front of the movie theater like this. That's what it'll look like. You'll be so wide awake. It'll be so clear to you, boy. I'm trying to tell you. That's it. I'm trying to told you. This is real, right? So you have to think about what channels you're picking and look around and see what you're looking at. When you look around and you narrate, you can tell what channel you pick. Oh, this is a horror film. Oh, hell no. This is not a comedy. This is a horror film, right? This is action. This is drama. This is a novella. This is super drama, right? This is, right? You can tell what you're watching, right? In the theater of your mind.
Yeah.
Right? So all of these things exist right now. You don't have to wait. Just change the channel. You don't have to wait for your success. You don't have to wait for your peace. You don't have to wait for your joy. You don't have to wait for that. But if you are giving yourself excuses of why you can't change the channel, oh, well, the battery's dead. I don't feel like getting up. Oh, well, I can't find it. Oh, well, if you keep making excuses about why you don't or can't change the channel, you will literally keep watching what you're watching. You will keep watching what you're watching. The channel is not going to change itself. Your life is not going to change itself. You are the remote. You are the programmer. You are the chooser. You are the selector of your life. And everything is available to you right now. And what you're living is what you chose. Whether it is in ignorance, willful ignorance, or whether it is just in whatever else you want to call it. Mm-hmm. You have chosen that. That's the only reason you're watching it. So if you want to look at something different, just change the channel. You don't have to fall out and get all crazy and get all upset and get all wrapped up. You're watching the wrong channel. Maybe it was a good channel last night. Maybe the movie was on. And now today, some kind of fishing show is on, and maybe you don't fish. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna change it. You don't get all hysterical over it. You don't pray for 7 hours. You don't do all kind of other stuff. Just change your mind. But we think that changing our mind is hard to do. But no, living the life because you won't change your mind is hard to do. Isn't the mind you have as living the life you live, isn't that hard? Changing your mind is easy compared to that. It's easy. It is easy to change your mind if what you're changing it from and what you're changing it to is worth it. Otherwise, you're going to keep what you have. People always say, oh, well, just get rid of that thought. You better replace it with something else. That's why people don't change if they don't have anything better to replace it with. Because a lot of times we feel like something is better than nothing. A bad job is better than bad employment. A bad relationship is better than no. Look at how many people keep things that are no good to them or for them, but they keep it because they don't want to have nothing. They don't want to be alone, whether it's in money, in health, in mind, in relationship, in proximity. But they will keep this bad thing and hold on to it, boy, like a 5-year-old on a go-kart ride. We hold on to things that don't do anything for us and only do something to us, and we rationalize it. Well, let me just explain. Pero we do the whole thing. We do the whole thing. And for us Spanish speakers, we all know when that happens, we already know what that means, right? There's a whole bunch of some coming, right? It's what it is. Do your desire, do your beliefs, what you believe to be true that you're acting on, is that in line with who you want to be? If it's not, get rid of it. It'll never get better. Depression never is not, it's not like 2 negatives equal a positive. I'm gonna be depressed for so long that it's gonna turn into success. It's not something to be managed. It's not something to get over. It's something to let go. It's something to step out of. It's something to say, this shoe does not fit. There's no way it doesn't matter how long I wear it, it's not gonna turn into the size I need. So let me just step out of it. Let me stop trying to rationalize it. And if I grease my foot up real good and I put 2 Band-Aids on so I don't get no corns, the shoe is it's the wrong fit. There's nothing wrong with that shoe. For someone else, it's a perfect size, but for you, it's not. There's a thought for every state of mind. There's a state of mind for every desired accomplishment and life and lifestyle. You have to pick wisely, just like there's a channel for every viewer.
Yeah.
There's a channel for everybody. Right? There's Monday Night Football. There's the Real Housewives. There is, the Last 48. There is cartoons. There's something for everybody.
Law and Order.
Law and Order, all the different Law and Orders.
Right.
Right? There's something for everybody. There is a thought for you, a belief for you. There's a state of mind for you. There is something for you. And we have to grow up and choose better, choose wisely, be aware that you are choosing, and allowing someone else to choose for you is still a choice. You gave them the choice to choose for you. You decided to believe them and not you. You have a business, you tell them, they're saying they're gonna work, you like, you right, I'm going back to what I'm doing. You made a choice.
Right.
It wasn't them, you just gave them the choice to make it for you. They told you, you said it was good. They told you it wasn't. You said, okay. And you went back. Let your light shine before the world. Nobody said nothing about no little light. This little light of mine. What the hell is a little light going to do? What is it? Hey, can you shine that little light over here for me so I can see? Nobody wants that. All it does is make you mad. Like, remember, I don't know, in Harlem Nights, remember when they were shooting that gun, a little boom, boom, and shoot that. Shoot it. Yeah, nobody wants to see your little gun, your little light, hear your little voice, or nobody wants that. Keep it to yourself. Grow it up and then say something, then do something. But this little you stop it. Stop that little stupid thing. See, man, I almost dropped it, but I'm not. I vowed not to do it twice because I'm trying to get on myself, work myself. Okay, right? Seriously, this is not that type of party, right? We have We have everything within us it takes. All of us, individually and collectively, we have what, but you have to pick it. The shows are on the TV, you got to pick it. You have to choose wisely, choose with awareness. Right? All right. Anything anybody want to say about that before I move forward?
Pew, pew.
Gosh. Man.
Oh, Sparkle Bailey is falling off with this little light of mine.
Man.
little light go too.
Oh man. I mean, it's just, oh man, seriously. Oh man, it's just so bad. All right. All right, here we go. Okay. So this class, right, is not about, it's not about dreaming or imagining to escape. It's about dreaming and imagining to create by selecting. This is not a place where you try to come to feel good about doing bad. This is not a good place to come and manage your depression or your cancer or your sickness. This is a place where you learn how to imagine yourself healthy, how to imagine yourself wealthy, or whatever it is you want to be. This is a place where you come to learn how to use that higher level faculty of mind that created everything, that created the whole world and everything in it before you decided to come down here and play with it, so to speak, to get a body and come on out, to get your uniform on and come out to the game. This is not a place where you are trying to escape. And this is not a place where we're trying to figure out how not to feel so bad about feeling bad, how to feel good about your life sucking. This is not that type of place. We're not here to rationalize the dark. We're not here to sit here and try to feel better about feeling bad. That's not why we're here, right? We are here to realize that within us, we have a higher level of mind that we can access. And in that higher level of mind is like a bank vault, or it's like where everything we could ever want is. And all we have to do is select it and say, you know what? I want to be that. That's what I want to be. That thing doesn't need your money. It doesn't need your coupons. It doesn't have a layaway plan. It's not making you wait. There's no credit check. There's no blood sample, nothing. Your desires and your dreams they're yours. There's no one else to give them to. Who are you saving them for? Who are you? You can't give them to someone else. They're yours. They're for you. They work because of you. They only work because of you. It's like all batteries aren't the same. Hey, I'm out of AAA. Anybody got a D battery? That's not going to work.
Right.
Your desires are for you. You're the only one that can make them alive. They're only for you. And if you keep delaying them, deferring occupancy, if you keep thinking, oh, I'll be it tomorrow, I'll be it later. Well, one day on the other side and in the by and everything else, there's, okay, cool. But anything else you get, you're not going to like, because one, you won't get it. And two, even if you did, it's not for you. Your dreams are for you. They are tailor-made for you. They will work if you work them. They'll work if you work them. If you're willing to accept that this desire of mine, I'm going to accept that I am that. I'm going to assume that I am that. I don't know anything about it. I can't even necessarily believe in it because it wasn't my idea, but I can believe in me. Your kids don't know 2 + 2 is 4. They don't believe that. They believe you. Until they understand that. You can't believe something they don't understand. It's not really belief. They just believe you. And they've been trained to believe their teacher. But the only reason they believe their teacher is because they believe you, and you told them to believe their teacher. Right? You don't have to believe in your dream. Believe in you. That'll do the same thing. You know what? I don't know how it's going to work, but I know what I said. I know what I want. So that's good enough. I'm just going to rock with that. And I'm just going to assume I'm that. I have no ways and means of making it happen. I don't know. Be okay with that. Be okay with saying, I don't know. You're just saying your human mind doesn't know. If I called you, Kari, on the street and said, hey, I'm on the airplane. You see that parade up there 6 miles away? What is he going to say? Yeah? How the hell are you going to say, yeah? I'd be like, either you're a superhero or you're insane. You can't see that from there. There's nothing wrong with that. But you trust the person who says, hey, man, there's a parade up there. Turn around. Don't go that way. Now they're trying to save you from something. or they're trying to help you with something. If you choose not to believe that and then believe it when you see it, by the time you see it, you in it. Now you stuck on the street for 2 hours, waiting for the little kids and a little stupid band to walk across your car for 2 hours. They can't even play the instruments, making you mad and everything. Right? For example, right? I'm just saying, like, there is a part of you, that higher part of you knows when it gives you an idea, just accept it and be like, hey, accepting doesn't mean I got the plan. Accepting means I accept your plan. And if I go down, we go down. So why are you going to bring me an idea that's going to take us both down here? Why are you going to do that? Why am I going to do that? Yes.
Laura said in the chat, and we only get one life to make it happen, and one and done opportunity, no do-overs.
That's correct. As you are, there's not. There's not. As you are with this name and this body, it's not. You live forever. Your body and this name you attach do not. So you came down here to do something, but you sit on the sidelines acting like you're stretching or you're just meditating. No, you're just too scared to get in the game. You're just too scared to play the game. You're just too scared to actually see what you got, what you have. We had a friend when I grew up playing basketball. We had a friend, I won't say his name, but we had a friend and he used to play basketball with us and we used to call him the model because he used to strut around the court like he was just too good to play hard or sweat. And every time he lost, it was like a built-in excuse. Oh, well, I didn't really play that hard. I wasn't really trying. You see, my shoes ain't even tied up, or they're not tied up that tight. It's always something. He was all right. It was always something, right? And so after a while, it was like, well, you know what you say when you're 14. You'd be like, please, right? But we're not going to say that now because we're mature. We've come out of it, right? But that's how we act in a lot of ways. We act like, oh, it's no big deal, like a teenager. It's no big deal. Whatevs. It's not whatever. No, this is a big deal. This is your life as you know it. It's the only one you know. So this counts. Yeah. It is a big deal. Your desires are a big deal. You living the way you want to live is a big deal. And you should be living the way you want to live. That's why we're here. We all come from somewhere else, and where we came from wasn't enough, let's just say. We want more. And so that's why we're here, trying to figure out, how do I do that? What, are you going to work another job? What do you got? Can you buy some more hours on the day from Amazon? Like, there's only so much more physical you can do. Think about it. There's only so much more. Why do you think we quit all the time? Because we've literally worn our mind and our behind down to the ground, trying to get more jobs, more hustles, make more product, get more sales, call more people, be online more, sleep less, bathe less, eat while you're bathing and sleeping, do all three at the same time. We try to figure out, boy, how to go from multitasking on top of multitasking. We will do everything except change our mind. We'll get another job before we assume we have our bills paid. You know what? I assume I have every need met and every desire of my heart granted. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working like I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm gonna assume something that I haven't assumed before. So now that means I'm moving to a different state of mind. And in this state of mind, if all my bills are paid, something has to be happening different here. There's a new thought here, or there's a new person in my life here, or there's a new job that pays more so I can draw. Something here is different. Why do you think we don't all live in the same state? They're different. The weather's different, the topography, the geography, the accents, it's different. So you can't move to a different state of mind with assuming a different choice and your life stay the same. It's not possible. I know I'm talking a lot about Kari today, but I didn't know Kari for months was from California originally. And now he's living somewhere else, completely different. And I'm sure he'll tell you it's not the same. It's not that it's better or worse, but it's not the same. What I'm saying to you is that if you're willing to change your mind, you can change to a state of mind that's not the same. And in that state of mind, you're going to have a new area code. Don't you have a different area code? Don't you have different people that you met? Don't you have different weather? Don't you, like, isn't it? It's completely different. Now, let me ask you one question. What did you do to make all that difference?
Made a choice.
To do what?
Just have a different situation.
So what did you do?
Got on a plane.
And so and you call that what? We call that what?
Change my state. Yeah.
Did you like get another job? Did you make people be something different? What did you do physically to create all this physical difference in your life? One thing, you moved. And to do that physically, what did you have to do before that?
Have the thought.
The thought. The thought is your outcome. The move is the vehicle to get you there. You can't create people. You're not making people. You're not making situations and scenarios the way you think you are. You're walking into them from where you are or where you go. Right? Where he is what it is. Where Natasha is what it is. Where Johnny is what it is. Where Sparkle Bailey and her family are, is what it is. Where Karen is what it is. Where you all are, is what it is. You didn't make it what it is. You moved into it as it is. And you, before you could physically have a different experience, you had to have a different thought that allows you to have a different physical that made you do something different. So now you get to experience something different. You can't have the same thought and think you're going to get something different. You can't. You can't wake up in California every day and say, oh, I'm just going to stay here. Why is California the same? Well, if you want something different, you have to be willing to move. Physically, well, it's the same thing. You have to be willing to move in mind. You have to be willing to change your mind. That's not spiritual and deep, and it's just the truth. It's how things work. Because even if you do this, even if you move physically, you couldn't do that before you had a thought. So until you change your mind, until you're willing to consider something different here, you couldn't experience something different here. But we're trying to have differences here while keeping this the same. And we're trying to have a different life while holding on to the same thoughts and feelings and beliefs that make the life we have. We're cooking tacos every night, and then we look in the oven and wonder why there's no cake coming out. It's the same ingredients you're using every day. How long do you, oh, if I just keep cooking this, it's going to turn into something else one day?
No.
No. If you keep thinking what you're thinking, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. It doesn't matter if you get a new job. It doesn't matter if you get a new friend. They are physical reflections of your thought. Every physical thing in your world is a reflection of your thought. Every physical thing is a manifestation. Every physical thing was a thought before it became physical. So everything physical in your world, whether it's a t-shirt, whether it is the house you're sitting in, the wall you're looking at, those are all manifestations. They were all ideas before physical, what you call reality. But the idea is reality. Because you can have the idea without doing it, but you can't do it without the idea. The idea is reality. If you want to change your physical reality, you have to change your idea about whatever physical reality you want to change. Whether it's your health, your business, your money, how hard something is, how easy something is. Is it hard to make money or is it easy? Why can't you say, I make a whole lot of money doing what I love to do? I make a lot of money and have a lot of fun. Why can't you do that? It's an option. If you can say it, you thought it. So if you thought it, it could happen. But your human mind gets in and says, wait a minute, let's talk about it, brother, sister, let's reason here. You can't do that. Why not? I said it. Why? I only said it because I thought it. So then why not? Who's making the rules up here? You're the God of your life. You are the God of your life. You are the highest thought, the highest level of authority in your life. If you said it, you thought it. If you thought it, it's real. Now, if you think you have to work hard to make money, then go right on ahead, little buddy. It's like Tasha said, go on ahead, little buddy, do that. If you think it's hard, if you think you have to know a bunch of people, if you think you have to go find people, why can't they come to you? I mean, I'm just going to use it this way. A pretty girl has people coming to her all the time, don't they? They ain't got it. So then I'm saying, why can't you be the pretty girl of your business? Why can't everybody come to you? If somebody can come to her for that, why can't they come to you for your thing? Half the time, we don't even think about it. Half the time, we're not even willing to consider that. Why can't they come to you? They come to her. Why can't they come to you? Why is it easy? Why isn't it easy? Why isn't your business easy? Why don't you have more clients than you can handle? Why isn't everybody beating down your door to get to you? Why? Because you're not willing to entertain that thought. Oh, you may like it, you may want it, but you're unwilling to see that because you have a limitation, a condition. You're saying, well, something else has to be. Well, it can't be that easy. Well, it doesn't work like that. Okay, cool. It doesn't work like that for you. Well, then why are you complaining to me it's not working? It don't work like that. Great. Then why are you complaining to me that it's not working? You got to pick, bro. You can't get both. You can have whatever you are willing to entertain, because guess what? You do have whatever you're entertaining so far. You have it. Take a look around. You've entertained all of that. Yep, all of it. Go on, take a look around. Yeah, roll your neck all around, like you do when you get attitude. Roll your neck around, right? Take a look around. That you have manifested all of that. You have created all of that. I mean, you have brought that into your life. If you want a different physical experience, you have to have a different thought. That's the only thing that's going to create that experience. That's it. Not you working on the job, not you getting another friend, not you trying to find more people, not you trying to do more sit-ups, not you trying to do, it's not going to do it. Oh, you can do that physically, but it's not going to do anything. I mean, we all have young people around us. You ever see a 3-year-old and they so busy in their room, jumping off the bed and crashing toys and trucks? Does anybody think they're doing like some kind of world changing activity? But they sweating, yelling, screaming, jumping and everything. But that's what you're doing at work, working 90 hours a week, 700 hours a day, closing the door on everybody in your family, telling them don't knock, putting a sign on your door, don't knock, I'm grinding. Everybody's out here. Everybody out here got, right? Everybody's okay, cool. But what? Go ahead.
And we put in the chat, T.I. said, you can have whatever you like.
It's true. That's the point of this. It's true. That's the point of this. You do have whatever you like. It's not optional. See, we're not talking about like nothing's happening and you can make something happening. What we're saying here is there's always something happening. You just get to pick whether it's for you or against you, whether it's good news or whether it's bad news. You're always manifesting what you want or what you don't want, what you like or what you don't like. There's no option. There's no pause button. This is not a video game. It's a game because you never die. But it's not a video game like you can pause it like something's never happening. Something's always happening, whether you know it or not. That office building that Laura was talking about is real, whether I know it or not. Your desire is real and true, whether your human mind wants to know it or not. But you'll go without it if you decide not. If that's too good to be true, cool. If it's too hard to do, cool. If you got a struggle in your business, cool. If you don't have enough business, cool. If you're not happy, cool. If you're stressed, cool. If you are unhappy or unhealthy, cool. Those are choices you're making. Those are all choices you're making. You're making those choices. And how do you know? Because look at your outcomes. If you want to change the outcome, change your choice. If you want to live in a different state, like Kari does from originally he came from, he had to first have a thought and entertain being willing to move. Now, guess what? Just because he's willing to entertain it doesn't mean you have to do it. He can still be thinking about it.
Yeah.
And guess where he would be when he's doing that? Same place he was,
Here.
same spot. So you can think all you want. You can be willing to entertain all you want. Boy, you can do it all day. But it don't mean nothing will happen until you make a decision. This is what I am. Let me ask you a question. When somebody plans when we plan a vacation and you pay for the vacation and say the vacation is coming up June 15th. Is that real or not?
Yeah.
It's imagined. It's not real until they make it happen.
Okay. But if it wasn't real, why did you pay for it?
Oh, you're saying they already paid for it, but you still got to get there.
Yeah, but you paid for it. If getting there was an obstacle, you wouldn't have paid for it.
So it's the vacation exists, but you may not be there.
Correct. But you not being there didn't bother you. That's why you paid for it. Because you said, if I pay for it, it exists. And I only paid for it because it exists. The concept is reality to God. Living there is reality to humanity. But that's why humanity is always second. Because the physical is always second to the non-physical. The idea is always before the outcome, what we call the physical outcome. So the reason we're willing to pay for something before we go on it is because if we have the idea, we're willing to pay. If we would have the idea of success and be willing to pay, meaning not cash, but with God, it's the assumption. I'm with you. Yes, I'm that. I have the idea of wealth. Yes, I'm that. I paid. Now, the vacation is 2 months from now, let's say. But it's already done. I'm telling everybody I'm going on vacation. Everybody's telling everybody we're going on vacation because it's already a done deal. It's an assumption. Do you have proof? No. In the sense of, are you there? No. But it's as good as done to you because you did the part that you were responsible for. You had the idea, you paid for it, and that's all you're responsible for. So to you, it's a done deal. We're not responsible for getting there. We don't fly the plane. We're not responsible for the place that we're going to. We don't even live there. We're going on vacation. We're not responsible for every part of it. That's where stress comes in. Can you imagine if you booked that vacation and now they tell you got to fly the plane?
Everybody about to die.
Right. Everybody about to die. Or you would just say, right, I'm not, okay, well then I guess I can't go. Well, why do you think we quit on our dreams? Because there's a part of the equation that we try to assume that's not ours to assume.
That we got to do everything.
We got to do everything. And how do you do everything for something you didn't even come up with?
Yeah.
I knocked on Car's door talking about we're going to Hawaii. Man, make sure everything is ready. I'll be in the car. It's just insane.
Danny looking at everyone crazy.
Right. And it would be Soul Plane Part 2. It'd be me in the front, Car in the front, and
Natasha said Soul Plane Part 2.
you know, listen, if I gotta fly that plane, I don't know what's gonna happen to everybody.
It's gonna be spirit.com.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Spirit.
Spirit.
I like Spirit. I like Spirit. I like that.
That's because everybody gonna die. It's gonna be spirit.com for real.
That's it. I like Spirit. It's action on there. It's just action, right? But so that's the point, is that the reason we quit or we give up is not because we're not putting in massive amounts of effort. It's because we're putting in massive amounts of effort with no outcome, or such little outcome that we can't keep it up. It's because we're not willing to use our mind. We're using our behind. So we lose our behind and our mind. When you use your mind, you will keep it and your behind. Your higher mind doesn't go through traffic. It sees everything. It's not going to go through all that. Why would it? When you're up in that airplane and you can direct somebody, why would you direct them through the parade?
Yeah.
You're going to be sitting. Oh, so then if you direct them through the parade, guess what you got to do? Wait for them to get there after the parade. Why would you do that? Right? You wouldn't. So it's the same thing, right? If you want to have a different physical experience, you have to be willing to not only first entertain a thought, get a new thought, and then be willing to accept it if that's what appeals to you. And only accept that which appeals to you. That is part of being grown and being mature, is not accepting things that don't appeal to you. Who goes to the grocery store and spends $200 on what they don't want?
Right.
Who goes to a car lot to buy a car they don't want? Who does, as mature people, we don't do that. Well, it's the same thing to be mature in mind, right? You have to think about, is this thought going to lead me to that? Is this thought reflective of that? If you wouldn't say that about God, don't say it about you. God doesn't lose, you don't lose. God doesn't get sick, you don't get sick. God isn't broke, you ain't broke. God isn't unhappy, unhealthy, or unsafe, neither are you. God isn't a loser, neither are you. God doesn't feel sorry for himself, neither do you. Ain't nothing wrong with God, ain't nothing wrong with you. And whatever you would say of that God, whatever you want to call that, of that supreme being, whatever you want to call that, if you wouldn't say it of that, don't say it of yourself. You're not humble, you're not meek, you're not mild, you don't have no little light, you don't have no little bike, you don't have no little voice, you don't have no little brain. There's nothing little about you. You are big, you are huge. There's nothing bigger than you. That's why going without your desires sucks, because it's not truth. It is true. You are truly experiencing it. You believe it to be true, but it's not the truth. That's why it feels bad. That's why it feels bad. It's not truth. It's not anything that's going to set you free. You can't be free with that thought. You're not free with the outcome of that thought. You are enslaved. You are limited. You are contracted. Nothing is going to happen from that. There's no good way to deal with that. You can't manage that. Stop trying to manage things you shouldn't be even having. Get rid of them. I'm going to manage my debt. Why? Get rid of it. Why? What does it say? You shall lend and not borrow. There's nothing wrong with lending or borrowing, because you can't borrow without lending. But which one of those do you want to be on? Then you can pick a side. You can pick. Right? You can pick. Stop trying to manage stuff that's no good to have in the first place, if you don't have to have it. And there's so many things that we all have that you don't have to have. They're common. They're not correct. They have been normalized. They're not normal. It's not normal to be sick. It's not normal to be broke. It's not normal to be unhappy or unhealthy. It's normalized. So many people are that everybody starts thinking, oh, no, it's not. You're stupid. All of you, whether it's one person or 1,000 of you or 1,000,000 of you, you're wrong. A lot of you doesn't make it right. It just makes a lot of you the outcome of whatever that is. It doesn't make it right. Right? Be correct. Be right. Operate in the truth so that you can be free. Free from debt, free from doubt, free from despair, free from depression. It doesn't mean we're all physically there this moment, but if you stay in that mind, you will get there. It will physically show up in your world, whatever it takes, but it can't show up in your world if that's not the idea that it's working from. The builders can't build a church with a playground blueprint. They can't do it. They're working off of the plans you gave it. The plans you're giving your higher mind are everything you're thinking, everything you're believing, everything you're saying to yourself, meaning entertaining. You have 70 to 80,000 thoughts a day. I don't mean every thought. I mean the ones you entertain. The ones you sit there and think long enough to have feelings about, to get in your feelings over. Those are the ones now that you're saying, let there be. I am broke. Do you know what that is? What is that?
Choice.
Okay, what else? What is it?
Declaration.
It's a choice. It's a declaration. What else is it?
A state of mind.
Okay, poverty is a state. Yes, it is a state. You're expressing that state. Yes, you are. You're saying, I live in California. I'm broke. Yes, it is a state. Broke is a state. It's a state. And it is, you are in there by your own choice. Whether it's a choice you accepted from somebody else, a lot of it is things that we accepted when we were younger because we didn't know better. Right? Money doesn't grow in the trees. Money is hard to make. Money is a struggle. You can't do this or you can't do that. Or you got to work twice as hard to get ahead. And if you're black, you got to work 3 times hard to get 2 times behind. And all whatever, all the stuff we say to ourselves thinking is game and we're right. It is a choice. It's a declaration. Guess what else it is? It's an affirmation. It means it's an agreement that you're coming in. You're agreeing with broke. You're holding hands with it. It is a prayer. You're praying. You're saying, let there be. You're saying, this is what I'm associating myself with. And if God associates himself with anything, that's who you all are. When you say, I am, you're announcing who you really are. If God associates himself with anything, who's going to come in there and say, and take that away? Who's going to say, knock it off? So then guess what? When you say you're broke, guess what? Who can help you with that? Who's going to fix that for you?
You can.
Only you
Only
can.
you.
Only you. So on Saturday, and anybody you're listening to that knows what they're talking about, they are always trying to alert you that it's not about them or me, the talker. We are here to help remind you that only you can do that for you. I can tell you that you can do it. I can show you how to do it, but I can't do it for you. And I'm here to remind you that you don't need me to do it for you. You don't need anyone up here to do it for you. You need to do that for you. You can do that for you because I don't have, or anyone up here doesn't have anything more in them than you have in you. They may be using more, but they don't have any more. And anyone you look at in this physical world has no more than you. They're just using more than you. They're just more aware than you. Just like we're not more than our kids, so to speak, but we can walk faster and run faster when we're our age and they're 2. We're just more, we're just acting more. We have more, but we don't have more intrinsically. Otherwise, they can never become us, right? They can never get to run that fast. So it's just not, it's not what we have, it's what we're using. And I'm here to alert you that you're not using your get out of jail free card, right? Change the state of broke, change it. Leave it alone. There's enough people who want to occupy that state. There's enough. Leave it alone. You don't destroy a state of mind. You just move in it or move out of it. But the state remains for any of us to occupy. Okay. And you move to the state of wealth or rich or more than enough. Call it whatever you want to call it. But just so that you can sleep at night in peace and joy and happiness, so that you can buy what you want, when you want, how you want, whatever that state of money means, whatever that state of health means, whatever that state of friendship means, whatever that state of business means, you name it. You define it for yourself. That is the only free will you have. Your physical body is not free. Your actions and behaviors are not free. They are inspired by the state you're in. The thoughts, feelings, and beliefs you have make up a state, which people call a state of mind. You live in a state of mind. That state of mind is comprised of thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. If you want to move out of that state, you're going to have to change these things to probably their opposite, or you're just going to have to get some new ones. But you can't keep these and think you're going to move out of there. Or you can't stay in here and think these are going to be better than the state. They're not. They're not. They're only reflections of it and the things that make it up.
So my question is, what would you recommend for someone? What would you recommend for me to do? Not asking for a friend. I'm asking for me. Where I feel like I'm always, I don't feel, I am always busy, right? And I'm always doing something. And how do I, I'm doing my aspirations at night. I'm doing some imagining at night. But throughout like the day, like how do I really reprogram everything I was taught since a child, right? Like there's so much to do, right? A lot of us are parents, a lot and have kids to take care of. A lot of us have, responsibilities and things to do. It's like, how do we weave it in to be able to reprogram ourselves and not have to kind of like come here on Saturdays and just be reminded, but then go back to that life after that, right? You know what I'm trying to say? Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you recommend for me?
So first you have to figure out, like when Kari moved, he was willing to entertain moving from where he was first. Then you have to figure out, where do I want to go, right? And where I want to go is a reflection of what type of life I want to live. So I'm here now. I have to be willing to entertain leaving. Okay, now that I'm willing to entertain leaving, where do I want to go? I want to go here because I want to go here. And this here reflects how I want to live now. So my point is that how do you want to live? Do you want to, you can say something different to yourself like, man, I always have more than enough time. I always get my work done so quickly and easy. How come everything is always working so in my highest and best favor? How come everything, my point is like you figure out where you are now and then where do you want to go? How do you want your life to be now? You're describing how your life is. You have to be willing now or able to describe how you want your life to be, right? You have to, what state do you want to be in? Like, what do you want it to be now? So just like Laura described her office, then she described her dream. Well, where you are now is your office. You're describing it because of your present and past experience. Your desire is you presently wanting to have a different experience moving forward. Describe what you want to be living like now moving forward. So, and how would you describe that? What words would you be using? What thoughts would you be having? That is, and then what you do is you keep thinking those words and those thoughts. You can call them affirmations, journaling, scripting, but really it's just having repeated, consistent interaction with this new thought you have of yourself. It's like meeting a stranger and hanging out every day at a conference for 6 weeks. By the end of that, you're going to be friends. Heck, you may be best friends the more time you spend together, right? If you notice anybody who's in a group, whether it's a team, a military, a family, in a group, those people are close or they get close right away if they're coming into a group like a military. Because why? You have these shared experiences that you go together day after day after day after day after day. You have to come with that thought of yourself and get that relationship day after day after day. You bond together. It's like, I am this thing. I am this thing. I don't mean just affirmations and talking to yourself. I just mean you talk to yourself, like you talk to the person who you now assume yourself to be, to get familiar with this person. You are a new person now. When you say I am broke and you say, you know what, I don't want that. I am wealthy. You say I'm wealthy over and over. It's not because you're trying to become wealthy. You already are as soon as you say it. Because whatever God says is right now. It's not going to be 10 years later, 2 hours tomorrow. It's now. But your human mind isn't aware of that. So your human mind, you have to make aware through repetition that what God already knows to be true. So you say it to yourself over, you write it, you say it, you talk to yourself. And what you'll see is whatever you're writing, saying, talking to yourself, whatever person you're getting acquainted with becomes from a stranger to your best friend or your good friend or whatever else it is. The more you come together on a consistent basis.
So like, don't allow myself to get into autopilot, basically.
Well, the point is that autopilot, not until
The same autopilot.
yes, not until that autopilot is that relationship,
Yeah.
is until you're that. Does that make sense? So it is what you're familiar with. Right? You know how sometimes we turn an age and like 2 days later, we have a birthday, 2 days later, somebody says, "Oh, how old are you?" And you tell them like, "Oh, no, I'm this age now." Because you've been this age for so long that now you're only this age for a day or so, and you've been saying I was this age for a year. So then after a while, if you say I'm this age for so long, this new age takes hold just like the old age did. It's the same. It's just a matter of repetition, consistently interacting with this new you that you are now. I am this thing. Every day, all the time. It doesn't matter. My world doesn't reflect it yet because I just became it consciously. So my human mind is like, what are you talking about? I don't know who this is. Well, you didn't know who that person was either. Now they're your best friend. So it's just from consistent, repeated interaction. That's what you're saying. You're getting acquainted with this new concept of yourself. And as you do that, you'll start to see all the effects of the new you. The new you talks different. The new you acts different. The new you thinks different. The new you has different ways of doing things. But you have to become acquainted with that. That's what affirmations do. That's what aspirations do. That's what journaling and scripting, imagining do. You're just getting you acquainted with the self, the new you that you've decided to be. Let me say it one more time. As soon as you declare, if you're broke, as soon as you declare, I am wealthy, however you say that, I have more than enough to pay my bills, whatever. When you declare you are this new thing, you are that thing. Make no doubt about it. You are that thing. Whatever you are in mind, you are. But your human mind is not acquainted with that yet. So you keep using your human mind to have a relationship with this higher mind and say, oh, this is what I am, this is what I am, this is what I am. And then you'll start to see your higher mind says, oh, yes, this is where we are. Let me show you. Let me show you. And then you and your higher mind, all the thoughts that your higher mind has about this thing will now be, you'll be one with. So you have access to that higher mind. You have access to that new you now. Now, when you look at your bills, you're like, cool, pay it. Yeah, cool, pay it. Or when you cough, you're like, oh, I don't know what was in my throat. You won't be like, I got bronchitis, right? When you change your state of mind, the way you deal with everything changes. When people move to different states and things like that. I think Natasha moved from somewhere to where she is now. The grocery stores are different. Everything is different. The streets are different. Your mind changes. Everything, the way you see things changes. The way you deal with things changes. Right? Last thing, when we grow up, right, we handle the goal at least is to handle things much differently than we did when we were 5. We don't just necessarily go out and throw temper tantrums because we can't get ice cream, or we don't go out and say, well, since my leg is hurting, I'm not going to work today. I'm not going to school today like we did when we were younger. We don't, right? We're mature enough to make different decisions, but that's because our mind has grown and matured. And what I'm trying to get us to do is to grow and mature in our mind to realize that we can make different decisions. We can be who we want to be. And if we are willing to remain in that thought of being, I am this. I don't see it right now. I don't feel it right now. I don't look like it right now. But remember, that's my human mind. And my human mind only deals with what it knows. It doesn't know this. So, but the idea came to it. So all the human mind in my mind is all I have to do is accept it. And I accept it and I say, okay, I am this. I don't know how, I don't have a plan, but I am this. I am just going to use what I do know to say, I am this. I am this. I am this. And you can continue to come into contact with that and you'll see it blossom in your life. Just like that stranger becomes a friend. It will blossom into your life. It's just automatic, but it's just through repetition and consistent interaction. You become familiar with the unfamiliar. Right? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. All right. It's 9. Anybody have anything they want to say? Questions or comments before I let you all go? Because I've been running my mouth for much time.
Coach Lucky,
Right now,
go ahead,
Go
Carmen.
ahead. Now
Go
you
ahead.
can.
Go ahead. You good? You got it. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say right now, most thing I got to say is thank you. I have a lot that I want to speak on later, but there are questions that I want to ask you when we get together for our later on talk.
Yes.
But for right now, this is good. I think, man, I really needed to hear this today. I think, as you know, I'll just say it. I've been in a little bit of a funk for the past week, a little worried about business. And this talk that we had and this lesson right now, I believe I needed to hear this. I really needed that pep talk. So thank you.
Yes, sir. My pleasure, always.
Hey, Coach Lucky, I just appreciate the awesome reminders.
Yes, ma'am.
That's all. I just appreciate the awesome reminders. I too, Kari, was in a funk this week. I was very isolated. intentionally. And it's these reminders, like, I'm a fairy, okay? Like, I am a positive ball of light. That's literally who I've been my whole life. And these calls like help remind me that I need to like tap into this community more than the outside community, because the outside community is so confused and they're not looking for clarity. They're just looking for, like, I don't know. They're looking for a lot of different things and I don't want no part of it. So as far as like allowing the outside world to influence my thoughts, I don't see the value in that. I see the value in influencing other people's thoughts, because I'm coming from a place like what you were speaking about today. I'm coming from a position of spreading joy, spreading light, spreading healthy messages, togetherness, things like that, building, things like that. But I don't know, maybe y'all need to, I'm gonna talk a little smack, y'all. Beryl, just get ready. I'm gonna talk a little smack. Maybe y'all need to up the ante here with this program for people like myself who are looking for a more Monday through Friday situation with this type of talk, with this type of community, this type of conversation. Because once a week, it's I feel like whatever I claim right now, if I say it's easy to get distracted or whatever, I'm claiming that. So I'm not gonna admit that, because it's not easy for me to get distracted. It's easy for me to stay focused. I want to stay focused. So with that courage, I'm saying to y'all, figure out something, because we're gonna have to do something else during the week. You know what I'm saying? Like with this type of conversation, because the people outside, y'all know what it is. Like, they're cool with chaos. They're cool with all things counterproductive and claim that they're gonna produce productive results. And I'm cool with just being to myself to get to where I need to be, if that's what it takes. But if I have a community because I have a community like this, and the leader of this community talks the talk that he talks every freaking Saturday, and Coach, I'm just like you. I'll keep going. I just keep talking. I just keep running my mouth. But like, my spirit is like, how can we do more of this?
Okay.
And Coach, it sounds like you need to keep the free Saturdays and charge for something during the week.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it. I listen. I hear. Okay. I hear you. Okay. I hear you.
The data breakdown of the human mind and
Yes.
the higher mind and the human mind was, very insightful simply to hear it broken down that way. And that's helpful for me. And regarding all week or Saturday, whatever you decide is good for me. But what I find from Saturday, first of all, I don't want to miss it. And also, I'm taking something every Saturday and bringing it through the week, just bringing it with me in some shape or form, what I learned, what I am automatically detached from because it isn't feeding my higher mind. So it's all good. It is all good. And you're doing a terrific job. And we say that because we don't know other than to apply and demonstrate. We don't know how else to thank you. But I thank God that He brought you in my life. And I take you all week with me. And the thing about it is, you're open to hearing what you need to hear because you're on that path. Not that you don't veer off. Hell, we all make wrong turns here and there, but because you are really invested into leaning toward that higher mind, utilizing that higher mind, staying on that plane, and your analogies are off the darn hook. I appreciate you, and I will continue to get all I can out of Saturday and wherever else you choose to give us and feed us. Thank you all. I appreciate all of you all too.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, everybody.
Oh God, no. Not you.
Don't do that to Mama. Don't do that.
Thanks, Mom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you,
Without
Mama.
you, there is no him.
There it is. That's how you close it out. There it is. Look, Coach, you can't say nothing, man. You got to give it
Nothing.
all to mama.
Yeah,
That's
I
where it
know.
came
Yeah,
from.
man, I'm gonna keep my mouth closed. For my safety.
Amen.
Yes, yes. Oh, definitely. Thank you all. I appreciate you all. Yep. So,
And
okay. Well, if nobody has anything else, I just want to make sure.
I do.
Yes.
Real quick. I'm new to the morning meetup. I think I'm like 2 weeks in,
Okay.
and I have never shared at all on the morning meetup.
Okay.
But this right here was fire. Okay. So I just want to tell you that you definitely sparked something with inside of me as well. I'm on the cuff. It's like my dam is about to break for real, but you definitely ignited something within me. The whole team and everybody who joins the morning meetup is very inspiring. So just know that you had me going today. I was like, yeah, you're on one and I'm right there with you. So thank you. Thank you, community, as always. This was super dope.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Welcome and thank you for coming. Thank you. Awesome. All right. Well, hey, thank you all. We appreciate you all. Like we always talk about, yes, that is my greatest pride, pleasure, and joy is to see all of us taking whatever we can and applying it in whatever ways we can. That is the biggest joy and form of payment I can get is seeing you all, because I'm doing it with you. We're all doing it, right? This is a lifestyle. Nobody's up here or down here. Everybody's on their own track, their own path, their own journey, but apply it. Be a doer of the word, not a hearer only. Otherwise, you're deceiving yourself. Apply it, apply it, apply it. It's the only way you know. You're scientists, right? You're applying your hypothesis, you're applying this information and finding it. You're proving that it's true. It's not a hope, it's not a wish, it's not a religion, it's not a group, this is something for you to take this information and apply it to your life in every meaningful and possible way that you can. And those meaningful possible ways grow each week that you do that. You just get better and better and better. So it is my hope and my intention that you do so. Thank you all. I respect and appreciate and I'm grateful for you all. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we'll do it next week, Saturday. I'll be back to maybe change the marker and drop that one too. So have a wonderful week, wonderful weekend, and we'll catch up next week.
Bye,
All right,
everyone.
y'all.
Have a great week, family.
On by tonight. So catch the website. It's on the chat, themental.academy. If you don't know, now you know. All right, guys. See you next week.
Peace.